In the dark of space, the human ship Resolute Dawn floated near a strange green moon. The crew had not planned to stop here. Their mission was peaceful. They were explorers and diplomats, traveling through unknown sectors to meet new life. But then a signal came. Strange and soft. Not like anything they had heard before. It was not a call for help. It was a whisper. And somehow it spoke in perfect English. "Come alone, midnight, no weapons." Captain Amina Torres stood on the bridge, staring at the message on the screen. Her dark eyes narrowed. The voice had been smooth, cold, and female. It didn't sound threatening, but it also didn't explain anything. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Jonas Hale, looked nervous. "This could be a trap," he said. "We don't even know what species sent that." Torres nodded. "I know. But the language, the timing, it feels deliberate. Someone wants to meet us personally." The science officer, Noah Kim, stepped forward. "Captain, the moon below matches no known records. But I'm getting high amounts of bioenergy from the surface. Something ancient is alive down there." Mina looked again at the message. Midnight was only 1 hour away. She made her decision. "Prep a shuttle. Small crew, no weapons. If they wanted us dead, they wouldn't whisper." The shuttle landed softly in a clearing filled with glowing plants. The air was thick but breathable. Giant trees stretched toward the sky, their trunks glowing faintly blue. Amina, Hale, and Kim stepped out, wearing light suits. Their boots made no sound on the soft moss. Nothing moved. Then, exactly at midnight, a figure stepped out from the shadows. She was tall, lazily 7 feet. Her skin shimmered like pearl, and her hair was a cascade of silver vines. She wore no armor, only a flowing robe made of living leaves. Her eyes were black and deep, like space itself. The team froze. The figure looked at Amina, tilted her head slightly, and then whispered in a voice only she could hear, "Don't ask. Just follow me." Then she turned and walked into the jungle. "Captain?" Hale asked in a low voice. She said to follow her. "That's it?" "That's it. You're not serious." Mina didn't answer. She stepped forward and followed the tall woman into the trees. The plants moved aside for her. Kim and Hale looked at each other, then followed. The jungle was alive. Not with animals, but with motion vines that moved on their own flowers. That opened when they passed, roots that lit up as they stepped on them. They walked in silence for a long time. Amina felt no fear. The queen, or whatever she was, moved slowly, but with purpose. She did not look back. She did not speak again. Suddenly, the ground shook. A loud hum came from the sky above them. The queen stopped and looked up. The humans followed her gaze. Above the trees, the clouds turned red. Something was coming. Back on the ship, sensors went wild. A massive object had entered the system. It was not natural. It was a ship, huge and sharp like a blade, floating silently toward the moon. It didn't send any signal. It just watched. "Captain, we're picking up something hostile," the comms officer said over the earpiece. "That thing is scanning us hard." Amina pressed her earpiece but didn't stop walking. "Stay calm. Don't make a move. Let me handle this." The queen led them down into a hidden tunnel, covered by vines. As they entered, the jungle closed. Behind them, sealing the way. Now they were underground, inside something that was not rock but not metal either. The walls pulsed with soft light, like veins in a giant body. "This place is alive," Kim whispered. The queen turned slightly, as if she heard him. Then, for the first time since arriving, she spoke aloud. "You are bold, Captain Torres." Amina stopped. "You know my name? I know many things. I have watched your kind from the shadows of your history. Then why now?" The queen turned to face her fully. Her face was calm, almost sad, because time has ended. Before Amina could ask what that meant, the queen touched the wall. It opened like a flower, revealing a chamber. Inside was a pod. A human man floated inside. Eyes closed, wires connected to his skin. The pod was old, very old. Dust covered it, and strange symbols were written across its surface. It said, Exoprime. 1874. Hale's mouth dropped open. That's impossible. 1874? That's Earth's own calendar year. This pod is from Earth. But we weren't spacefaring in 1874, Kim said. This changes everything. The Queen said nothing. Amina stepped forward and looked at the man inside. He looked peaceful. Not dead, but asleep. Who is he? The Queen's eyes darkened. He is the reason you were never meant to come here. Outside, the sky grew redder. The alien ship in orbit was lowering its position. It had noticed the humans. It had noticed the Queen. The Queen looked up toward the ceiling. As if she could feel the tension above, she whispered again, They are here too early. I hoped for more time. Amina faced her. You said not to ask. But I need to understand. What is this place? Why the human pod? Why contact us? The Queen looked at her with something that almost seemed like respect. Because humans are unfinished. You're dangerous not because of what you are, but because of what you might become. She stepped closer. We made a mistake long ago. A deal with the Axiarchs. It kept peace. You're kind. You're kind. Amina's jaw tightened. You mean we were supposed to die? Yes, you were never meant to reach the stars, but we did. The Queen nodded slowly. That's why I broke the rule. That's why I whispered. Suddenly, the chamber shook. The lights flickered. Dust fell from the ceiling. The Axiarchs, the Queen said. They have come. Kim stared at the pod. Is this man a weapon? The Queen answered carefully. He is something more. A memory, a seed. If he wakes, the treaty breaks forever. War returns. Amina looked at the man in the pod. Something about his face felt familiar. Not as a person, but as an idea. Strong, unafraid. A human from a forgotten past. What do you want from me? She asked. The Queen stepped back into the shadows. I want you to decide. Follow me and break the cycle. Or Renand. Let history repeat. Another whisper, this time louder, echoing through the walls. Don't ask. Just follow me. Outside, the stars watched. Inside, the choice began. Captain Amina Torres stood in front of the strange human pod, her eyes locked on the face of the man sleeping inside. His body was still, covered in wires and glowing lines. The pod hummed with quiet energy, even after hundreds of years. Words Exoprime, 1874 were still clearly visible on the front. She turned to the alien Queen. Her silver hair moved like water and her black eyes never blinked. Who is he? Amina asked again. The Queen's voice was calm, but full of weight. He is a key, a seed planted in the wrong soil. A memory of what your kind once was. Before the galaxy decided to forget you, Amina frowned. Why would anyone forget us? Queen looked toward the pulsing walls of the underground chamber. Because your kind is unpredictable, fast, emotional, brave, dangerous. The ground shook again, softly this time. Felt like something huge was moving above them. Lieutenant. Hale checked his scanner. The alien ship is still up there, Captain. It's holding position, but I think they're watching us. The Queen nodded. They always watch, but now they are afraid. The Queen led them deeper underground. The tunnel curved down into darkness. Vines glowed gently along the walls, showing the way. The air was warm and smelled like old forests. Noah Kim walked beside the Queen, trying to hide his excitement. He was a historian, and what he saw around him was like a dream. Is this a city? He asked. The Queen gave a small smile. It was long ago. The tunnel opened into a massive underground space. It looked like a giant tree had grown upside down, its thick roots forming bridges and walkways. Strange glowing lights hung in the air like floating jellyfish. On the walls were carving scenes of war, peace, and something else. ... Something hidden. Kim stared at the carvings. These are Jir symbols, but some of them are human. That's not possible. The Queen looked at him. Your kind was here before, but the galaxy erased that story. Hale looked confused. Mean humans were in space. Before Earth even knew how to fly? The Queen nodded. Yes, long before. They entered a chamber filled with round stones. Each one pulsed with a soft green glow. Some were cracked, some were empty. These are memory stones, the Queen said. They hold voices of the past. Warnings, truths. She handed one too. Amina, it was warm in her hand. The moment she touched it, her mind was filled with a voice not hers, not human. The humans grow too fast. They do not adapt like we do. They leap. But if left unchecked, they will shake the balance. We must agree. For peace, we must erase them. Amina dropped the stone. She looked at the Queen in shock. That was ... a council. The Queen nodded. The Council of 13. They made the deal with the Axiarchs. We're not allowed to rise again. But someone broke the rule. Kim, whispered you. The Queen walked to the edge of the chamber. A great tree root rose from the ground like a throne. She sat on it, regal and calm. I watched your kind from afar. I saw Earth rise. I saw you fight each other, destroy, rebuild, create, laugh, love. I saw something no other race had. Mina stepped forward. What did you see? The Queen looked into her eyes. Hope. Even in your worst moments, you hope. That is your power, and your threat. There was silence for a moment, then Hale's device beeped. Captain, he said quickly, the alien ship is deploying probes. Dozens of them, heading toward the surface. They've found us, the Queen said softly. In the next moment, the chamber lights flickered. A deep hum filled the air, followed by a strange voice, metallic and cold. Surrender the illegal species. Do not interfere. Amina stepped back. That's them. The Axiarchs. The Queen stood. Yes, they were machines once, created for peacekeeping. But peace turned to power. Logic turned to fear. They believe only in control. Kim looked at the Queen. If you broke the treaty by calling us, they'll attack, won't they? The Queen nodded. Yes, unless we wake the sleeper. Everyone turned to the pod again. Amina walked to it. Who is he really? The Queen came beside her. His name is Commander Alan Vex. He led the last human expedition before the Great Silence. When the treaty was signed, he and his ship were lost, or so the galaxy thought. Amina's eyes narrowed. You hid him. I protected him, hoping one day your kind would return. The chamber shook again, this time harder. Dust fell from the roots above. The Axiarchs will be here in minutes, Hale said. Amina placed her hand on the pod. It felt cold and full of energy. Can we wake him? The Queen placed her hand over Amina's. Together. They pressed gently, and the pod glowed bright. Energy pulsed through the chamber. The pod hissed. Steam rose. Then his eyes opened. Commander Alan Vex gasped and sat up. He looked around, confused. Then his eyes locked onto Amina. He spoke, voice rough. Where am I? You're safe, she said. I'm Captain Amina Torres. Welcome back. He blinked. Torres. Human. Then it worked. What worked? I was sent to stop the treaty. But they stopped me first. The Queen stepped forward. They are here again, Alan, and they want to finish what they started. Alan looked at her with slow recognition. You're the Queen, yes. Act. And you broke the rules. She nodded. He looked at Amina, then at the others. How many humans are out there? Billions, Amina said. Across colonies and ships. A slow smile formed on his face. Then it really did work. Suddenly a large explosion rocked the chamber. A hole opened above. A machine probe dropped in cold, silver, floating. On anti-gravity, it scanned them all. Its unlawful contact confirmed. Prepare for deletion. Alan stood. Not today. He stepped forward, and his suit now glowing responded. A beam of light shot from his palm and hit the probe. It sparked, screeched, and exploded. Everyone froze. Alan turned to the Queen. You upgraded me, she gave a small nod. We're the first of your kind to be fused with Gir Biotech, a warrior and a diplomat. You are the bridge. Mina looked at him with awe. What now? Alan turned to her, serious. We don't run. We send a message. Amina activated her earpiece. This is Captain Torres to Resolute Dawn. Broadcast on all frequencies. Tell them what we found. Tell them the treaty is broken. Humanity is back. The Queen stepped beside her. And tell them this time they are not alone. As the chamber shook again and more probes dropped, Amina gave a final look at the Queen. You whispered at midnight, and I followed. The Queen smiled. And now, everything changes. The walls of the ancient chamber trembled. Dust fell from the roots above, and lights flickered. The alien probes were still dropping through the cracks in the ceiling. Each one hovered in the air like a silver insect, cold and deadly. Captain Amina Torres stood beside the newly awakened human, Commander Alan Vex, who was still breathing heavily from the shock of being pulled out of the pod. His body glowed with faint blue light, the result of alien technology fused into his system by the Queen long ago. We have to move, Alan said. These things won't stop. The alien Queen nodded. They will not rest until the humans are removed. Or destroyed. Lieutenant Hale aimed his scanner at the ceiling. Dozens more are above us. If we don't do something now, they'll bury this place. Mina looked at the Queen. You said this place was a city? Are there weapons here? No. The Queen replied. We believed the future would be built through peace, but we prepared ... just in case. She turned and walked quickly to a wall made of twisted vines and glowing roots. With a gesture of her hand, the vines peeled back, revealing a long hallway made of crystal and stone. Inside were thousands of floating orbs, each one shining with soft light. These are mind cores, she said. They hold knowledge, not weapons. But knowledge can be used dangerously. Commander Vex stepped inside. I remember these. Giratech is mental, not mechanical. If I can connect with the cores, maybe I can disrupt the probe network. The Queen placed a hand on his shoulder. You may try. I've been asleep for over 200 years, Alan said with a weak grin. Time to feel something. Outside the chamber, the jungle above shook. The Axiarch Dreadnought, a massive black ship shaped like a blade, hovered lower into the atmosphere. Its sides opened slowly, releasing more probes, fast, sharp, and deadly. On board the Resolute Dawn, orbiting above, the crew panicked. Captain, the Axiarch ship is powering its weapons. The communications officer shouted, but Amina's voice came calmly over the comms. Don't fire back. Not yet. Send the message to Earth and the colonies. Use every frequency they need to know. The treaty is broken. In the core chamber, Alan sat in the center of the floating orbs. His eyes were closed. The orbs spun around him like a storm of stars. His breathing became faster, then slow again. Suddenly, his eyes shot open, glowing blue. He spoke, but his voice echoed like several voices at once. I see them. I see the Axiarch network. Cold, logic-based. No emotion. No chaos. The Queen whispered, that is their weakness. They do not understand anything without order. Alain closed his fists. The orbs around him responded, sending out waves of energy through the roots of the city. Outside, the probes paused mid-air. Hale stared up. What's happening? Kim checked his scanner. They've stopped moving. Alan's doing something. The Queen smiled faintly. He is showing them something they cannot compute. Inside the Axiarch ship, machines worked silently. Leader, a glowing cube of shifting light, reviewed the data. Error, inputs conflict, logic loop, illogical signal from planet surface. The machines could not understand the emotions coming from Alan's mind. Hope, sadness, laughter, memories of family, war, peace, and dreams. These were not logical files. S were human, disorder detected. Strategy undefined. For the first time in thousands of years, the Axiarch machines hesitated. But then, the Axiarch leader spoke. Recommendation: escalate to physical strike. The ship's underside began to glow red, energy weapons prepared to fire. Alan's eyes returned to normal. He gasped for air and fell back. Amina caught him. "Are you okay?" "I slowed them down," he said, coughing. "But they're adapting." The Queen nodded. "That is what they do. They learn. But they cannot create. Only your kind can do that." "We need to hit back before they fire," Hale said. Amina looked around. He said the city has no weapons. "But is there anything we can use?" The Queen walked slowly to the center of the chamber. "There is one thing," she said. "But it is dangerous. It's not a weapon, it's a voice." She placed her hand on the floor. A hidden panel opened, revealing a strange device. It looked like a crystal microphone surrounded by vines. "This is the Echo Core. It sends emotion, memory, and thought into the minds of any who hear it. It is old, very powerful. It can reach even machines." Amina stared at it. "Can we control it?" The Queen looked sad. "Once it speaks everything, good and bad. It is raw human truth. If they hear it, they will either break or destroy everything." Alan stood up slowly. "I don't have a choice." Amina looked at her crew. They all nodded. "Let's give them something they'll never forget." Back on the Resolute Dawn, the crew received the new message. "Captain Torres is activating something called the Echo Core," the tech officer said. "Should we pull back?" The first officer shook his head. "No, we stay. If this is the end, we see it through." On the ground, the Queen helped Alan and Amina lift the Echo Core. They placed it on a route platform. Now glowing, Amina took a deep breath. "We're not perfect," she said quietly. "We've made mistakes. Fight, we fall, but we get up again. Always. That's what it means to be human." She placed her hand on the device. The Echo Core activated. A sound filled the air. Not just sound, but feeling. Music. Memories. Laughter. Fear. Triumph. The cries of children. The voices of poets. The last breath of dying soldiers. The cheers of crowds. The silence of space. It reached the sky. It reached the Axiarch ship. Inside the dreadnought, the machines froze. Input overload. Internal error. Unknown emotion. Sorrow. Unknown emotion. Joy. Process halted. The Axiarch leader paused. Fear detected. And for the first time, retreat advised. The Axiarch ship turned. Slowly in the sky, its lights dimmed. The probes fell from the air, landing like broken toys. They were not destroyed. They were confused. The Queen watched it happen, eyes wide. They have never heard truth before. Silence returned to the jungle. Alan leaned on Amina. "Did it work?" Amina looked up at the empty sky. "I think we just made history." The Queen stepped forward. "No, you made future." Later, back on the Resolute Dawn, Amina sent her final report. "The treaty is broken, but so is the silence. Humanity has been seen, and for the first time, heard. We did not fire a weapon. We told the truth, and they listened." Far away, across space, other races heard the same echo. The humans were back, and this time, they would not be erased. The red light in the sky had faded. The Axiarch dreadnought, the ship that once hovered like a blade of doom, had left orbit. Its probes were now scattered across the forest floor, lifeless and broken. No sound came from them, no threats, no warnings. But Captain Amina Torres knew this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. Inside the underground city, the atmosphere was tense. The Echo Core sat still on the platform, dim now. Its power had been spent. It had done something no human weapon could do. It made machines feel. It shook the Axiarch logic so deeply, they chose to retreat. "But not forever. They'll be back," said Lieutenant Hale, scanning the skies above. "They don't like things they can't explain." Amina nodded. He just became one of those things. Commander Alan Vex, still weak from his awakening, leaned against a vine-covered wall. His body was glowing less now. The alien tech inside him quiet again. "I've seen this before," he said. Back in the old days, we pushed too far, too fast. The galaxy feared us because we didn't follow rules. That's why they erased us. That's why they made the treaty. Noah Kim, the historian, stood nearby holding a memory stone. They weren't just afraid of our weapons, he added. They were afraid of our minds, our ideas. Amina turned to the alien queen, who stood silently near the edge of the chamber. Her silver eyes watched them all. You knew this would happen, Amina said, didn't you? The queen nodded slowly. The Axiarchs do not forgive betrayal. I broke the treaty when I called you. I knew war might return. But I also knew peace born from fear is not peace at all. Suddenly, the walls of the chamber lit up with soft pulses. A new signal had arrived. Not from the Axiarchs, but from a faraway system. The queen touched the wall, and a hologram appeared. It showed dozens of ships, alien ships, different shapes, sizes, colors, a fleet. Hale stepped forward. Who are they? The queen looked serious. They are the Council of 13, the old rulers of this galaxy. They made the original treaty, and now they come. It's to decide what happens next. The Council's message was clear. The Jir have broken the Treaty of Silence. Humanity has returned to forbidden space. The balance is broken. We offer two paths. 1. Surrender humanity to be confined within Earth's solar system. It may live, but never leave again. 2. Refuse and face extermination. Silence filled the chamber. Kim whispered. They're giving us a choice, between a cage or a death. Vex looked at Amina. What will you choose, Captain? Amina didn't answer at first. She walked to the center of the room and looked up at the floating lights. She thought about Earth, the colonies, the explorers out in space, people who had no idea this ancient war had returned. She clenched her fists. Neither, she said firmly. We choose a third path. The queen raised an eyebrow. A third path? Yes, Amina said. We fight, but not with weapons. We fight with truth, with unity. We show the galaxy that humans don't kneel. We don't give up. Vex smiled weakly. That sounds like the humans I remember. The queen led them into a hidden chamber deeper underground. It was filled with technology far older than anything Earth had ever seen. Floating stones, glowing maps, and strange machines that hummed like whispers. This is the heart of Jur, she said. Connects to the galaxy's communication grid. The Council uses this to control history, but we can use it too. Kim's eyes lit up. Can tell the truth. Amina nodded. Show every planet, every species, what really happened. What they tried to hide. The lost history. The erased humans. The lies of peace. But they'll try to block it, Hale warned. They'll try, Amina said. But it's hard to silence something once the galaxy hears it. The Queen helped Kim and Vex connect the heart of Jir to the ship's systems. It was dangerous work. One mistake, and the heart could overload. As they worked, Amina looked at the Queen. Why did you choose me? She asked. Why whisper to me? The Queen paused, then answered, voice soft. Because you didn't ask why. You acted. You trusted. That is rare in this galaxy. Most beings need answers before they move, but humans, means, leap into the dark. Amina smiled. Sometimes we fall. But sometimes, the Queen said, you fly. After hours of work, the system was ready. Broadcast in 1 minute, Kim said. Every planet, every ship, every channel. Amina stood in front of the console. The camera glowed red. This was it. She looked into the lens. People of the galaxy, she began, voice calm and clear. My name is Captain Amina Torres. Speak not just for Earth, but for every voice that was silenced. We were told to stay quiet, to disappear. We were labeled dangerous. But the truth is, we were different. We grew fast. We felt deeply. We refused to be controlled. They feared us. So they erased us. But now, we are back. And we bring not war, but truth. She paused. Some will say we should go back to sleep, that we should stay in our little corner of the stars. But we say no. We are human. We ask questions. We break limits. We love. We dream. We fall. We rise. She stepped closer. If that makes us dangerous, so be it. The signal spread like fire. Planets across the galaxy received it. Alien leaders watched in silence. Citizens of 1,000 worlds looked at the human face on their screens and asked, why were they hidden? What else don't we know? The Council of 13 tried to block the signal, but it was too late. The truth had already spread. The galaxy had seen humanity. And this time, it remembered. Back underground, the team watched the responses flood in. Kim looked amazed. We're getting messages from other species. Some are offering to help. Others just want to talk. Vex nodded. It's more than we had yesterday. The Queen looked at Amina. You've made your choice. Amina turned to her. And now the galaxy must make theirs. Far above, the Axiarch ship watched from a distance. Inside, the leader processed the human message. New strategy required. Human error. Hope. Possible value. Alliance. WAIT. In a distant part of the galaxy, a new message was sent. Not from a machine, not from the Council, but from a young alien. Captain on a small ship, she had watched the broadcast and made her own decision. To the humans, we see you. We remember. We want to learn. It was short, but it was the first crack in the wall, back on Earth. People looked up at the stars that night for the first time in a long time. They felt they weren't alone. The stars were cold and distant above the jungle canopy. Below, the ancient city hummed softly with life, a mix of old alien technology and new human energy. Captain Amina Torres stood at the edge of the chamber, watching the flickering lights. Of the heart of Jir pulsed like a heartbeat. They had sent their message out to the galaxy. The truth had been heard. The humans had returned from silence not with weapons, but with voices. Now came the hardest part. Captain Lieutenant. Hale approached, his face serious. The Council of 13 has responded. Amina turned sharply. What did they say? Hale's voice was low. They demand an immediate surrender of human forces. They threaten to send the entire fleet to contain us if we refuse.
Alan.
Vex stepped forward, his eyes tired but determined. They don't understand us yet. They see us as a threat because we don't follow their rules. The alien queen stood between them. Calm, but her silver eyes filled with an ancient sadness. This is the crossroads, she said softly. The galaxy will choose peace. Or war. Outside the underground chamber, the jungle was alive with movement. Scouts from other species arrived, curious and cautious. Some brought gifts, others weapons. The atmosphere was tense, like the moment before a storm. Amina knew every decision mattered. Every word spoken could tip the balance, she gathered. Her crew, we've shown them who we are, she said. Now, we must show them what we stand for. Alan looked at her. What's the plan? We negotiate, Amina answered. We reach out to those willing to listen. We build alliances. And we prepare for whatever comes next. In the days that followed, the underground city became a hub of activity. Ambassadors from many species came to talk. Some were eager, others suspicious. Some remembered old wars, others old betrayals. But among the visitors was something new. Hope. The humans and the alien queen shared stories, memories, and knowledge. They worked together to repair broken machines and build new devices. The heart of Jir broadcast messages of peace, history, and unity across the stars. One night, Amina sat with the queen near the Echo Core. Do you think we can change the galaxy? Amina asked quietly. The queen looked at her, her gaze deep. It is not about changing the galaxy, she said. It is about changing ourselves. Amina smiled. That sounds like a human answer. The queen nodded. You taught me well. But peace was fragile. The Council of 13 did not give up. They sent a massive fleet, dark ships that blotted out stars. Moving toward the jungle world, the skies burned red with their arrival. Amina stood on the surface looking up as warships formed a ring above them. Alan placed a hand on her shoulder. They'll attack soon, he said. We won't be ready, Hale said. Amina clenched her fists. We have to be ready. It's not just with weapons, but with our hearts. The Councils. Fleet sent a message. Surrender or be destroyed. Humanity's rebellion ends now, Mina replied with a broadcast of her own. We do not seek war, but we will defend what we have earned. The right to exist, the right to be heard. The battle began at midnight. Ships clashed in the sky above. The jungle lasers cut through darkness. Explosions lit the stars. But below, humans and the alien allies worked together like never before. Using the heart of Jir, they sent pulses of emotion into the enemy ship's sphere. Doubt, hope. The Council's machines hesitated again, confused by feelings they could not process. In the heart of the fight, Mina piloted a small ship through the chaos. Her mission was clear: reach the Council's flagship and broadcast a final message of peace. Alan and Hale flew beside her. Guarding the path, the Council's fleet tried to stop them. But the unexpected power of unity pushed them through. Inside the flagship, Amina activated the communication system. Her voice echoed across the galaxy. Listen to me, she said. We are not your enemies. We are not the chaos you fear. We are life complex, imperfect, and beautiful. She paused. Can we not find a way to live together? To learn from each other? The galaxy held its breath. Then, silence. The Council's leader, the glowing cube of shifting light, spoke. Processing. New data. Evaluating. Human message. Time seemed to stretch. Then the leader said, Proposal. Peace talks initiated. The warships withdrew. The jungle world sighed in relief. Days later, leaders from the Council arrived on the surface. They met with Amina, Alan Hale, the alien queen. Together, they signed a new treaty, one based on truth, respect, and understanding. As the stars shone brightly above once more, Amina looked up and smiled. The night was midnight again, but this time it was filled with hope.